You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. Deuteronomy 6:8 ESV. Welcome to the presentation of Hands and Eyes. I just tried to do this and ran over my 20-minute limit, so I'm going to do half of this and then do part 2 later. I want to talk about the Son of Man in Daniel 7. Doing this because I saw this great documentary, The Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. It's currently, at the time of this recording, available on Netflix, and I highly recommend it in general. But the explanation of the Son of Man in Daniel 7 is not right. And this confusion is widespread. I think it needs some clarification. So, some background on Daniel's vision. Daniel is in exile with the rest of his nation in Babylon at the time that he has this vision. In Babylon, Daniel has already interpreted a vision of 4 empires in history, beginning with the Babylonian Empire, followed by God's own kingdom that lasts forever. That's in Daniel chapter 2, and it predicts the Babylonian, then the Medo-Persian Empire, then the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great, and his 4 generals after that, and then the Roman Empire. And then Jesus comes, and of course that's the beginning of the kingdom of God. There's a lot of people that will tell you it means something different with a different timeline, and they're all wrong. We'll do that some other time. Alright, but what does Daniel see in chapter 7? He sees 4 winds stirring up the great sea in verse 2. He sees 4 beasts coming up out of the sea, verses 3 through 8. Here's one artist's imagination about this. I think I got this from Wikipedia. And then here's another one. Alright. One like the Son of Man goes up to the Ancient of Days. This is next. And he's the Ancient of Days who sits in a court of judgment. Power is given from the beasts, or taken from the beast, Power is taken from the beast, and the Son of Man is given a kingdom that will last forever. So Daniel's vision invokes creation in Genesis 1. There should be an apostrophe there in Daniel's vision, but forgive me. How does it do this? Well, the 4 winds over the sea. Genesis 1:2 has the Spirit over the waters. Same word. It's the same word if you translate it to Hebrew. Ruach can mean wind or breath. It can mean spirit. So anybody hearing this vision described would think of Genesis 1:2, I believe, when they saw this, especially in context. Because another context is the creation of these animals. That happens in Genesis 1, and the animals, their dominion is taken away and is given to a son of man. Son of man, or it could be translated son of Adam, as if it was all in Hebrew, it would be. Adam can mean humanity, or it can be the proper name of the first human. So this is all Genesis 1 kind of imagery. Compare Psalm 8 in the ESV. When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, the Son of Man that you care for him? You have made him a little lower than the heavenly beings and crowned him with glory and honor. You have given him dominion over the works of your hands. You have put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen and all the beasts of the field and the birds of the heavens and the fish of the sea, whatever passes along the paths of the seas. Son of Man, alright, son of Adam. Second Adam, actually that just means an Adam, son of Adam. But it reminds you of Genesis 1. All this language is from Genesis 1. Dominion over the beasts. And this is all being used in Daniel 7. But you see, there's another psalm that's also kind of interesting background to this. Let's notice in Psalm 80. Now, a little bit longer, but let me read it to you. You brought a vine out of Egypt. You drove out the nations and planted it. You cleared the ground for it. It took deep root and filled the land. The mountains were covered with its shade, the mighty cedars with its branches. It sent out its branches to the sea and its shoot to the river. Why then have you broken down its walls, so that all who pass along the way pluck its fruit? The boar from the forest ravages it. All that move in the field feed on it. Alright, I'm going to stop there and just say this is Israel. It's very obviously Israel. The vine taken out of Egypt. Nations are cleared away in the promised land, Canaan, and it's planted there in this new land, and it grows and is fruitful until it decays in sin and is judged by the other nations, by the boar from the forest. So you have here a picture of Israel as a vine and a tree even, which is interesting because actually that's also in Daniel for Nebuchadnezzar. He has a vision of himself as a tree, but and I actually think there's a relationship there, but I'll let that go for now. But continuing on then with Psalm 80, Turn again, O God of hosts, look down from heaven and see. Have regard for this vine, the stock of your right hand, or sorry, that your right hand has planted, and for the son whom you made strong for yourself. They have burned it with fire. They have cut it down. May they perish at the rebuke of your face. But let your hand be on the man of your right hand, the Son of Man, whom you have made strong for yourself. Then we shall not turn back from you. Give us life, and we will call upon your name. The Son of Man is Israel. Son of Man equals the nation of Israel in Psalm 80. He's not a single person. All right, the Son of Man would be an image of Israel, or perhaps a remnant of Israel. In fact, let's look at this from the standpoint of Genesis. Genesis kind of shows you that Israel is supposed to be God's new humanity. All right, you begin in Genesis 1 with God's first humanity, Adam and Eve. Be fruitful and multiply, they're told. Genesis 9, Noah, humanity starts over with Noah and his sons and wives. They too are told to be fruitful and multiply. There's a lot of other recollections of Genesis 1 and chapter 9 of Genesis, because they just had the world destroyed by water, so you have kind of the Spirit hovering over the waters again. Only this time there's also a dove involved, which is kind of why the Spirit chose to take the form of a dove when Jesus comes out of the waters of baptism in the Jordan River, but that's getting away from ourselves. Okay, so Genesis 1, Genesis 9. But wait. Genesis 35:11. Jacob, or Israel, as he's named right there in that passage, be fruitful and multiply. So Jacob, or Israel, is a new Adam, and the nation of Israel is a new humanity. Here's the passage from Genesis 17, 1 through 6, about Abram, or as he's renamed Abraham in this chapter. He's given the covenant of circumcision, and if you look at the promises there, you see that God uses the language of be fruitful and multiply for his promises for what he's going to do for Abram. He's going to make him exceedingly fruitful, there in verse 6, the second portion. He's going to multiply him greatly. So be fruitful and multiply, God's going to do that for Abraham, and then later it actually is told to Jacob, who is the one who is named Israel, and who actually goes on to have 12 sons. All right. So again, according to Psalm 80, the Son of Man, the nation is the nation of Israel. It's not a single person. So what about Daniel's vision? Well, Daniel recaps the vision, and we will deal with that, I think, in part 2. I'm going to stop right there and continue this.